What if I told you there's a country rich in oil, diamonds, and untapped markets where businesses are still scarce in many sectors, and the people who enter early often control entire niches? Sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, right? But here's the problem. Almost no one is talking about it. Most people get this wrong, but here's why. They assume that if a country isn't trending on business blogs or startup forums, it must not be worth it. But the truth is, the less crowded the conversation, the bigger the hidden opportunity. And that brings us to Angola. Now here's the surprising truth about Angola. It has one of the largest economies in sub-Saharan Africa, driven by natural resources and a growing urban population. Yet outside investors often hesitate because the system feels unfamiliar. And that hesitation? That's exactly where the opportunity begins. But this is where it gets serious. Starting a company in Angola is not plug and play. It requires patience, planning, and understanding how things actually work on the ground. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to register an LLC in Angola step by step through a real story, so you not only understand the process, but also the risks, rewards, and reality behind it. Let's start with a story. Meet Michael. Michael runs a mid-sized logistics business in the U.S. He's experienced, sharp, and always looking for the next growth market. One day, he notices something interesting. Several African countries are increasing imports of construction materials, machinery, and consumer goods. But one country stands out, Angola. At first, he hesitates. I've never done business there. Isn't it complicated? But then he digs deeper. He realizes something powerful. Demand is rising faster than supply, and that's when curiosity turns to action, because sometimes the biggest opportunities are hidden behind uncertainty. Now, before we follow Michael's journey, let's understand what an LLC in Angola actually is. In Angola, the equivalent of an LLC is called a Sociedade por Cuotas, often abbreviated as LDA. And here's why that matters. Just like an LLC, it provides limited liability protection. That means your personal assets are generally separate from your business risks. Simple idea, but essential for any serious entrepreneur. Now here's where things get interesting. Angola allows foreign investors to own companies, but here's the catch. The process involves multiple steps, approvals, and local procedures that can feel overwhelming if you don't know what to expect. And this is where most people quit. But not Michael, because he understands something most people don't. Complexity filters competition. Now let's walk through the process step by step. Step 1. Defining your business activity. This is where everything begins. Michael initially thinks about starting a general trading company. But here's the problem. That's too broad. In Angola, your business activity must be clearly defined. Why? Because it affects licensing, taxation, and regulatory approvals. So Michael narrows it down. Import and distribution of construction materials. Clear, specific, practical. And that clarity sets the foundation for everything that follows. Now, step 2, choosing your company name. Seems easy, but here's where things get tricky. Your company name must be unique and approved by the authorities. And here's the surprising part. The process may require checking name availability through official systems that are not always instant. So Michael prepares multiple options because smart entrepreneurs don't wait for problems, they prepare for them. Now, step 3, drafting the company's legal documents. This includes the Articles of Association, and here's where things become technical. This document defines ownership structure, management roles, business activity, capital distribution, and here's the key. It must comply with Angolan law, because mistakes here don't just slow things down, they can create legal issues later. So Michael works with a local legal expert. At first, it feels like an extra expense, but later he realized it saved him from costly errors. Now, step 4, opening a bank account and depositing capital. To form an LDA, you need to deposit share capital into a local bank account. And here's something most people don't expect. The minimum capital requirement is relatively flexible compared to some countries. But here's the challenge. Opening a bank account in Angola can take time. Banks require documentation, verification, and compliance checks. This is where things slow down, and this is where frustration begins. But Michael stays patient because he knows something important. Every step forward reduces uncertainty, and eventually his account is approved, capital is deposited. Now things start to feel real. Step 5. Company registration. Once your documents and capital deposit are ready, your company is submitted for registration. In Angola, this process is handled through official business registration offices. Documents are reviewed, information is verified, and then you wait. This is where it gets uncomfortable, because timelines can vary. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's not, and this is where most people lose momentum. But not Michael, because he understands that speed is not the advantage here, persistence is. And then one day, his company is approved. Now everything changes, because he's no longer exploring an idea, he owns a registered business in Angola. Now step 6, obtaining a tax identification number. But here's the problem, you're not done yet. After registration, you must register with the tax authorities. This gives your company a tax identification number, and this step is critical, because without it, you cannot operate legally. This is where many people get confused, because they think registration equals operation, but in reality, registration is just the beginning. Michael completes this step carefully, and now his company is one step closer to functioning. Step 7. Social Security and licensing. If your business involves employees or specific activities, you may need to register with Social Security, obtain sector-specific licenses, and comply with labor laws. This is where things become detailed, and this is where local guidance becomes essential, because every industry has its own rules. Michael works closely with local advisors, and slowly, everything comes together. Now, step 8, becoming operational. This is the moment every entrepreneur waits for. Your company is registered, your tax ID is active, your bank account is functional. Now you can operate. And this is where the real journey begins. Now let's pause for a second, because you might be thinking, this sounds like a lot of effort. Is it really worth it? And that's the right question, because this is where the story shifts. 6 months later, Michael's business is running. At first, progress is slow, but then something unexpected happens. Because competition is limited, his company quickly becomes a trusted supplier. Clients who struggled to find consistent imports now rely on him. Margins improve, demand grows, and suddenly, what felt like a complicated process becomes a strategic advantage. This is the hidden payoff. But let's be real, not everything is easy, and this is where it gets serious. Angola has challenges. Bureaucracy can be slow, infrastructure may vary depending on location, language can be a barrier, especially if you don't speak Portuguese, and regulations can evolve. This is where it gets dangerous. If you enter without preparation, you can lose time and money. But if you approach it strategically, you gain access to a market with real potential. Now let's bring everything together. Registering an LLC in Angola involves defining a clear business activity, choosing a unique company name, drafting legal documents, opening a bank account and depositing capital, registering the company, obtaining a tax identification number, completing additional registrations and licenses. Simple steps on paper, but powerful in execution. And here's the deeper insight most people miss. This isn't just about Angola, it's about how opportunity works. Because the easiest paths are crowded, and the paths that require effort are often the ones with the biggest rewards. That's the trade-off, that's the game, and that's where smart entrepreneurs win. Now here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you willing to step into complexity for long-term gain? Because that's what separates average thinking from business-minded thinking. And if you've stayed with me this far, you're already thinking differently. You're not just chasing easy wins, you're exploring real opportunities. And that's how growth begins. So if this gave you a new perspective, if it made you think differently about global business, make sure to subscribe. because we're breaking down more hidden markets, real strategies, and opportunities that most people never even consider. And trust me, the next opportunity you're looking for might be in a place no one is talking about.